Go where you are celebrated, not just tolerated. If those around you can't see the real value of you, it's time for a new start. Give the gift of your absence to those who do not appreciate your presence. Of all of the advice that I've ever been given and actually followed in my life, this is by far the best, and it's reaped the most benefits in my life. Teachers, mentors, guidance counselors, they teach this to kids, but the left has fallen into a trap they didn't see coming, and there's no way for them to get out of it. In today's video, I'm going to cover this. They have been caught in a huge trap of hypocrisy. And if somebody brings this up and confronts them on it on a public stage, they will never, ever be able to recover from it. Now, in yesterday's video, I talked about this young woman, Jennifer Cabrera, on Twitter, and she had related this issue in Gainesville, Florida, this business, Cox Communications. These pictures are from Cox Communications, Gainesville. Unvaccinated employees not allowed in parts of the building and forced to use separate outdoor restrooms. Now, on its face, it sounds pretty outrageous. And she asks the governor and the Speaker of the Florida House and the President of the Florida Senate, do you want this type of discrimination in Florida? Well, when I looked closely at the pictures, they have this outdoor trailer parked around back in the shade under this beautiful live oak tree dripping with Spanish moss. Here's a better picture. And I kind of got to thinking, wait a minute, this looks preferable. If I've got to use the restroom, I get to go walk outside, get some fresh air. And here it's a pretty sunny day, and one would have to assume that the minority of people at this business are unvaccinated, so you would be sharing the facilities with fewer people. That's a plus. And you'd be around like-minded people. That's also a plus. Now, she responded to my response that it doesn't matter whether it's nicer or preferable. What matters is that people are being segregated. Well, this is kind of black and white thinking. Segregation is wrong, but what if the segregation results in something better? I had replied, I guess I'm more of a realist. I agree in principle segregation is wrong, but if the reality actually makes someone's life better, if they wanted to move all unvaxxed to the third floor, for example, more exercise, be quieter, and you would be surrounded by like-minded people. And about 2 o'clock this morning, I woke up and thought about something. This happened last year. And everybody forgot about it. What if somebody said, we're only going to rent apartments to the unvaxxed on third floor? You would have neighbors that are all like-minded, wouldn't you? That would almost seem like a benefit. See, Mahatma Gandhi said a small group of determined and like-minded people can change the course of history. Surround yourself with those on the same mission as you. It's all the same idea. Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. The left has been pushing this for years. Well, guess what? They're caught in a trap now. What's the trap? Who remembers the Freedom Georgia Initiative? Now, some of you might not have heard about this. We covered it a long time ago, almost a year ago, actually. 19 black families purchased 97 acres of Georgia land to build a quote-unquote safe haven. Now, this was all after everything had happened with Floyd and ongoing racial tension and blah, 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 blah. So they bought this huge tract of land way out in the middle of nowhere. Pardon the ad. Quote, our vision is to develop our vast resource-rich 96.71 acres of land in Toomsboro, Georgia for the establishment of an innovative community for environmentally sustainable living, health and wellness, agriculture and economic development, arts and cultures for generations to come. Our aim is to be, and here's where you got to pay attention, premier recreational, educational, and cultural destination for all families? Oh, no, for black families across the African diaspora. We welcome you, your family, and all black allies to support us. Why would they want to create an all-black city? You see, it was all about this idea that they wanted to create their own separate, they wanted to self-segregate. Nobody was forcing them to. They used their own finances and their own resources. Here's the freedomgeorgiainitiative.com webpage. And as you can see, it's all black people. They reiterate this, that it's for black values and black families and healing from racial trauma and all this. And it's helping them. The Black Achievement Fund, the Reparations Project, Black Wall Street, Black Homeschool and Education. It's not for everybody. If everybody were what they wanted, they could have stayed right where they were in Georgia, mixed around with people they agreed with and didn't agree with and liked and didn't like. But they wanted to be amongst like-minded people. That was their goal. This is a picture from their Facebook page. A stewardship retreat where they study soil and plant science, intro to animal husbandry, sustainable building off of the land, political education. All voluntary, all on their own dime. This is what this group of people wanted to do. They even had something Labor Day of this year called the Big Black Campout. But then they ran into a problem. You see, they didn't realize that they were being allowed to do this by the left without any pushback because they hadn't crossed some of the fundamental tenets yet. See, they put up this picture. A quote from Ida B. Wells: "A rifle should have a place of honor in every black home, and it should be used for that protection which the law refuses to give." Well, you see, as we know, as we've watched the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, the left is against all guns, no matter what and who. So this made the left kind of back up and revile. But then, you see, and I'm going to reiterate it, it wasn't for everybody. This is another picture from their Facebook. Here's where things went sideways. They got confronted by the people who are really in charge. The group of people that you can't be separate from. You see, when you say that I want to go be around people who I'm celebrated and I'm not just tolerated, see, there's a group of people that will always say, sorry, we are mandatorily going to be part of your group or we're going to destroy you. This is from the Freedom Georgia Initiative's Facebook page. Their quote: "We were recently asked, what are our views on the LGBT," that's back when it was just LGBT, "community? Please read the entire caption above. Thank you, Freedom Georgia." Now, I know this is kind of small print, but I'm going to read it for you. They were forced to retreat on everything that they said that they were going to stand for. Let's scroll it up. Quote: "We love the LGBTQIA," looks like they edited it here, "community and have no problem with how anyone chooses to live chooses to live and love. Our comment in regard to the LGBT community starting their own community was to encourage them to do exactly what we did to solve the challenges and needs that need to be met in their communities." So they had made a comment saying, the LGBTQ community said, "Are we welcome there?" And they said, well, this is supposed to be for, black people only. Why doesn't the LGBTQ community, why don't you start a community of your own? Well, guess what? You see, you can't do that. Not in the modern world. You see, you can't be around people. You can't express the idea of wanting to be around people that are like you. They continue. "We understand that LGBT people are discriminated against, harmed, overlooked, and more. However, this is not what we want to happen in Freedom Georgia. The idea of freedom is that all people are welcome and we want them to feel safe and protected, no matter the sexual orientation," pay attention, "race, gender, or religion." Back up. This is what they were pushing before. This is what they were pushing before. It was all about race. Everything about it was race. What we, Freedom Georgia Initiative, are doing is looking to create an impervious community. What does impervious mean? Impenetrable. Where people can bring their friends, family, and social causes to buy land in the nearby area with their group's need in mind. In our most recent acts, FGI has purchased land for our family and friends to reside, enjoy, and cultivate authentic experiences where, again, all people are welcome, including our sisters and brothers of the LGBTQIA plus community and all oppressed people, fighting for their equality, equity, inclusion, justice, respect, and safe havens. Again, we strongly encourage everyone to start their own communities, which is literally the exact opposite of what they just said. We are Freedom Georgia. We do not discriminate, and we accept everyone, period. That's quite a leap from here. That's quite a leap from here. You see, you're not allowed to do this anymore. You're not allowed to do this. This is a problem. The left is now caught between the idea of go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated, and forced mingling. See, these people here said, look, we have one way of living, and we have our values, and we want to use our money and our finances and our choice to go out here to this place in Georgia and just be on our own. And God bless them. God bless them. If they bought the property, they want to go out there and they want to live, who the hell am I to say they can't? It's a free country. But guess who says they can't? The LGBTQIA community says they can't. Nope. Sorry. You can't have a like-minded community. You absolutely cannot. Sounds a little bit like communist China, doesn't it? See, you're not allowed to have any unauthorized thought. And I had brought this up because I thought it was important. China's new military toy might dominate the Pacific, analysts warn. You see, they've just built a supercarrier. 3 to 6 months it's going to launch. And it's as big as anything we have. It's as big as the Ford. With our technology. Also, story out of Vermont. Very strange. The most vaccinated state in the entire, well, formerly United States. Oh, by the way, this is a satellite photo of that ship that's going to launch probably April. Something like that, April or May. You see, the narrative's starting to flip. This is level of community transmission. And they include Puerto Rico, too. For some reason, people don't want to talk about the highest single-day case number ever in Vermont occurring recently. Or the 7-day rolling average of Vermont versus Florida. Oh, and one final thing. Who remembers Val Demings? She was a police officer in Orlando. She had threatened to run for governor, and then she decided that she was going to try to run for Marco Rubio's Senate seat. Well, guess what, guys? It's over for her. It's toast. She broke the law. She took money from Terry McAuliffe. And that's right here, and I'll give you this link. She violated the soft money ban in Florida. Respondents have violated 52 USC 30125. Anyway, I don't want to get too distracted on this, but the bigger idea of today's video was you can't have it both ways. You can't counsel people, go where you're celebrated and not tolerated, because that has built into it the idea of separating yourself from those who don't celebrate you. It doesn't say change your mind so that you're more accepted by those that you're around. right? It doesn't say that. But that's exactly what the left is preaching now. You're forced under their code to have a certain thought process. You must believe this. You must think this. You must accept this statement. You can't be different than anyone else. And everybody must think that way. Everybody must believe that way. Anybody who deviates from that, they're to be ostracized. But then when you say, okay, me and this other group of people over here will self-ostracize, nope, you can't do that either. You can't do that either. They're stuck. They are stuck in this trap. And if anybody would confront them to somehow try to resolve that logically, I would love to hear it. You take the anti-gun types, and then you take the LGBTQI community, and then you have the black separatists, and all this stuff, and then, of course, the vax versus non-vax. How does this work? How does all that jive together? How can you say, we have this value, we have that value? You have to take every idea to then a ministry of truth. They tell you then what the authorized opinion is, and then everybody must have that and then leave? That's literally CNN in a nutshell. And MSNBC in a nutshell. So, anyway, I will leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Have a great day, and we will see you guys later.